All right, welcome to this presentation by Mary Scott, who is our District 4-Way Test Speech Contest. I got it right, didn't I, Mary? You have to practice a while to get all those words in.
Yeah.
And new Rotarians have trouble doing that. Thank you for joining in this evening. I think you're going to find Mary's information quite useful, quite helpful. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Mary.
Okay, well, thank you. It does, we may have a few people join us, but still, I do plan on having another session for my chairs as the school year comes into focus. So I may use the same information. So those of you who already know can answer the quiz. So I have, there we go. All right, so we have our welcome quiz here, which is the correct title. So we have, is it the Rotary Speech Contest, or the Rotary Test Speech Contest, or the Rotary 4-Way Speech Contest, or the Rotary 4-Way Test Speech Contest? And guess which one it is?
Number 4.
It's number 4, the longest one and the most difficult to remember and the most difficult to put in things like calendar entries and so forth. But there it is. So I have a lot of important people in our district who have mispronounced or misnamed it, and I just smile and do my best. So at any rate, there are, but among us, you can always put the letter 4. That makes it a little shorter. And just among us, you can always just call it that. Just sometimes, but I do, when I send an email, I try to put the word Rotary in the subject line. So that pretty much dictates I have to do the rest of the term. So here's another fun fact. Okay. When and where did the Worldwide Rotary 4-Way Test Speech Contest originate? I did not know this until Richard Lemire told me. Look at that.
That's right.
So
Yucca Valley.
Yucca Valley, 1976, which makes this the 50th anniversary of the Rotary 4-Way Test Speech.
I knew George.
Did you know him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. It was before I came to this district and before Marilyn came to this district. So anyway.
I wonder what made George think about doing that. Did you ever talk with him about that?
No.
Some people are just so creative, and he was one of them.
Yeah, yeah. That's when he had 75 members in the club.
Wow. Well, to think that you can go online and you can Google the Rotary 4-Way Test Speech Contest, and you can see contestants from all over the world competing, mostly in the USA. But I'm sure if we, if we had it in a different language, had YouTube in a different language, we'd find them in other countries as well, because I know there are. So anyway, I'm really happy to be here today. And I realize that we may have some veteran chairs from veteran clubs. And we may have some new chairs from veteran clubs. And we may have new chairs from clubs that have never done it before. So this year, I want to emphasize that every single club is unique. And I would challenge each of you, if you are a veteran club, to charge up your current Rotary 4-Way Test Speech Contest, or if you're brand new, to spark that. So I would like to encourage everyone to move forward from where they are, and I'm here to help. That's what I'm here for. So tonight I'd like to go through the basics for those who are probably tired of hearing it, but I'll make it quick. And then we have some contest timelines to review and a couple of major procedural changes. And then I'll talk a little bit about AI. And then I want to talk about how we can provide some support for this. So I want you to know that there will be the full 10-page Rotary four-way test speech contest manual coming out. And again, I'm waiting for some things to be nailed down beforehand. And I don't want to publish and then have to send a revision. So I hope to have it done in enough time that gives you time. But in the meantime, if you need an older copy of it or a draft, I can send you a draft and we can talk about that. So a lot of people are concerned, want to know what the eligibility is. And so it is any student who's enrolled in either public, private, or homeschooled, grade 9 through 12, and that each student may compete in only one club per year. So they can't go shopping around from club to club if they wish to. They have to pick their club that they're going to compete for. And each club can only send one first place winner. But I want to emphasize that if you have 4 competitors, 5 or 2 or 3, I would love to see you working towards having every one of them having a great experience. And we also have students who may compete multiple years, except if someone has won first place in the district, then they can't compete again. But we had a wonderful student for 4 years competing from Moreno Valley last year. Last year was her last. Her ambition is to be a TV announcer, and so she's
Wow.
a wonderful speaker, and she has placed every single year. So the topic, someone said, well, I thought it was ethics. Yes, it is. But it's an ethical issue using the principles of the Rotary four-way test. Now, that ethical issue can be a big thing like saving the planet, but it can be a little thing like caring for an aging pet. It doesn't have to be global. It can be anything that you're having that you can discuss of what's right and what's wrong. And there are no restrictions on what the speaker can talk about, as long as it's not profane, obscene, unpatriotic, or racist. Well, we're good for that. And on the prize money, we're suggesting $50 for third place, 100 at the club level, 100 for second, and first for 200. Our club, because a lot of times we will have trouble choosing, and we'll give a fourth place for 25. And they're happy, and they come and speak to the club anyway, and nobody slaps our hand for that. At the district, it's a very generous prize package because the first 10 kids will win something. So you will see that the 10th through the 6th level get $200. We give a honorable mention to those who are 11th and lower. We give a certificate to them. And one of the things I want to mention, speaking of certificates, that is a really great thing for you to do for kids and make them feel really good about the experience, is a personalized letter from you to whom it may concern, for them to put in their portfolio for applying for jobs in college. Just write a notice about what a great job this student did, whether they won or not. It's a really wonderful addition. So our top winner wins $700, and it goes from there. And Kurt Welshon saying he can't get on. Shall I answer it? I guess because he's in our. Hi, Kurt. Are you unable to get in? I will have Marilyn Sanderson send that link to Kurt Welshon. And do you have his email address, Marilyn?
I'll have to look it up, so it'll be a few minutes.
Tell us what it is real quick. WELSHON 12@gmail. Couldn't get more simple. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks. Bye. Okay, he says Linda, I forget who he said it was, Linda somebody, is also, he'll send it on to her. So, all right. So Now we talk about the timeline, and I did it backwards because that's one of the things we learned in education, backwards mapping. Where do you want to end up? And then how do you get there? And so, okay, seems pretty far away, the 14th of March, 2026. It's in Banning, and we want the kids to arrive no later than 8:30 a.m. and we'll have breakfast for them and so forth. That seems like a really nice, comfortable long time from now. And so does the club level contest date of 2/21. And the reason why the gap between those dates is that number one, I need to make sure my lists are accurate, and I need to rattle the cages of anybody who for some reason forgot or didn't do it or whatever. And I need to find people who maybe said they were going to do it and can't or whatever. Plus, this is a great time for you to take your speaker and really continue to coach them. There is nothing wrong with you saying, okay, Susie, you did a great job, but I saw this one section where I think you could do better. So this gives you some time to work with your student. Okay, so when is the best time to get the student prepared, starting to do their speech? I like to say just after winter break, because if you do it too soon, they've got finals, they've got all this other holiday type stuff going on. And if she sends it through DACDB, I may not be able to get the message. Sometimes DACDB does not come to my email for some reason. Could she please send it personally? Okay. So you got that, Marilyn?
I'm sorry, I was sending the email. Would you say
Okay.
again?
He says don't send it through DACDB. Send it from your personal email.
I did.
Okay. Okay, he did. All right. All right. And then right after winter break, they're just getting started in the new semester, and they're not so distracted with finals and all that. So basically, if winter break and finals have a conflict, I would say just after finals. So, but the best time to sell it to them is just before winter break, because they're going to be thinking about the ethical question they want to write their speech about. So that's the best timeline I can recommend. By the way, I have a six per page summary of this. Marilyn is going to send it to everybody who attended today. So, all right. So, what's the best time to choose a club chair? Now, or yesterday, and to get on our email list tomorrow. Please let me, email me. I have my email address is included in this. Plus, you can find me in DACDB. And then to start planning, how are you going to make this work? And I'll tell you, the first year that I worked on this at a club level, we had 2 candidates. And then we had 3. And we sat down and said, how can we make this better? Not just because we want more competition, but because we want to have more kids have the experience. So strategizing is a good thing to start looking at what the problems might be that you already know about or you can anticipate. And then it's important to get support at the school as soon as you can to have people working with you. So before I get into procedural changes, any questions on timelines, stuff like that? Okay. Well, inflation has not hit this contest. It's still $50 per club. But the change is that last year it was no paper checks, and that really threw quite a few people for a loop. And I had a step-by-step process that I provided to them, and guess what? It's changed again, and I do not know what it is. So that's one reason why I can't get the manual out to you yet. I want something that's just simple. This is what you do. This is where you click. This is how you do it. And whether you're going to pay personally and get reimbursed by your club or whether you're going to have your treasurer do it, it should be simple. And we have a new treasurer in the district, and so therefore, and she works full time. So I have not yet had from her a discussion as to how we're going to make the payments simple. But that's why you don't have the manual yet. Then we have a speaker entry form, and I don't care how nicely I have done it in the past, I still get entry forms where I can't tell a 0 from a 6. I can't tell a 0 from an O. I can't read people's printing. It has just been a nightmare to try to make sure, and their email addresses. Oh my goodness, it's so important to have their email and their mailing addresses so they can get their checks. So this year, I have a fillable PDF form, and it's going to be on the website. There'll be a link. Let's see what he's doing now. It's right. Let's see. So that's the same as Zoom meeting happening. Yes. Who wants to know? This is from, yes, Marilyn Sanderson.
You know, Mary, people who are having a problem getting in, let's go ahead with the presentation.
Sure.
Because
Okay,
to track all these people down is going to take more time than you want to allow.
sure. Okay. I just wrote Marilyn Sanderson is find Marilyn Sanderson in DACDB and see if she can do it that way. Okay, so the fillable form will be one that you would your student would and you would fill out, and then basically you'd print it out and fax it to me, scan it to me, or take a picture of it. I don't have a way yet of making it be totally electronic, but that will help a lot. She says the link she has is not working, and this is Diane with 2 N's, Gree, Grecre. I don't know who that is. So, so now we have an issue of artificial intelligence. And I did a little survey to some of my people from that I worked with for quite a while, both students and adults, and said, do you think we should do a plagiarism check? And oh yes, we really should. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, I got to thinking about it. I had consulted with my son, and this person is okay. So she's in, but she hasn't been.
Okay, you know, I'm watching Mary to see who
Okay,
clicks in, and she hasn't shown up yet.
okay, it's somebody else then. So I really, like you say, I can't answer her text.
Just let it go.
Okay. So anyway, we have to work on originality. And right now, the manual says all speeches must be the original work of the speaker. And that doesn't mean that cited quotes couldn't happen. You know, ask not what you can do for what your country can do for you, and that sort of thing. But I would recommend that they keep those cited quotations very brief, because the speech is theirs, not somebody else's. So this is what now it says a written copy of the speech may be requested by the club or the district, and that is true. It's still going to be there. But if we did a plagiarism, now she's calling.
Just don't answer it, Mary, okay?
Oh, hi, can you call Marilyn Sanderson is in charge of it, not me. Thanks. She's in DECDB.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
Mary,
I'm in the middle of my presentation. I can do it again for you soon. Just email me. Okay, bye. Okay, so if we did a plagiarism checker, who would get to do it? Would we ask every single club chair to do it? It wouldn't be fair to have some do it and some not. Would we ask Mary Scott to do it? Oh my God, 15 to 20 kids? Can you imagine the parent blowback? So, and at what point would we do it? Before they give their speech? After they've given their speech? And what about whether the plagiarism checker is reliable? My son, who's very good in this sort of thing, is going to take a recorded speech we had from last year that I thought would be a possibility that it could have been plagiarized. but I can't tell you for sure. But I wanted him to run that, and he's going to do that for me. And he's also going to try to write a speech on the four-way test using AI and see how far he gets, just so we know. But right now it's not happening. But at any rate, for the moment, I would like to stay out of that patch of weeds. And here's what I've written. To ensure originality and engage the audience, speakers are strongly advised to introduce their topic with a personal story and to work with a Rotarian or a teacher throughout the speech writing and revision process. If you start with them, and this is what teachers will do, if you start with them and you watch them brainstorm, you know that it's not done by AI because you're working with them personally. And I was talking with Paul earlier before everyone else came on. I would strongly recommend that Rotarians work with the student rather than just farming it out 100% to a teacher, because the teacher will not be as familiar with Rotary. They will not be familiar with our rules. No matter what you hand them as pieces of paper, they're not going to be able to bring the Rotary experience to the student. So, again, whether you're a veteran or new, this is where we start, is by finding new ways to make it a better experience for the student. And wherever you are, that's where we'll start you. Now in 2025, I wanted to cite some successes plus a disaster. So we did have more personal stories. We did have speeches that were better structured, but we did not have as many as I would have liked. We had a few students who were not appropriately dressed for the event. So I think that's important. That's what we do as Rotarians, is to help our youth become successful. And really important is to get them to slow down. Now, here was the biggest problem. 8 out of our 15 speakers exceeded the time limits, and it really knocked them out of receiving awards they otherwise could have won. And it took us an extra hour to process the penalties for those 8 students. And people were waiting around at the contest. Well, when are we going to hear? And I kept coming out of the judge's room saying, I'm so sorry. We had 8 people who exceeded the time limit, and we are calculating the penalties. Oh my goodness, that should not have happened. So how do we get beyond that? By involving Rotarians with the kids from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it happens. Now, I want to talk this is kind of reiterating a little bit. The killer judging criteria, the length, major penalties for the length, either too short or too long, and the fact that the Rotary four-way test must be integrated throughout the entire speech, and that they all have to be original. And you'll see how that all fits in as we go along. So one of the things we have is called the Rotary four-way test speech sandwich, which is something I put together as because of my teaching background, and I want to share a little bit closer for you to see. Right up in here, it says 700 to 800 words, timed for 7.5 minutes maximum. Even though 8 minutes is the limit, we're telling our kids at our school, at our club, no more than 7.5. That gives them time to cough, to sneeze, to get a laugh. There's all kinds of ways. The winning speech this year was 5 minutes and 40 seconds, I think. Then right in here, it says, okay, here's what you do in the introduction, 90 seconds, 100 to 150 words. Here's 30 seconds explaining the connection to the Rotary four-way test. So it is structured, but within that, the students get to do a lot of their own stuff because it starts with their personal story. So at the contest, I held up a copy of this to the contestants, and I said, how many of you received copies of this? Half. Go figure. All right. The other thing is that we have a rubric. We have a score sheet. And Marilyn, as a former teacher, knows we teach to the valid test. It's okay to tell them what they're going to be tested on. So I have this score sheet, and when I first came to Rotary speech, it just said content, delivery, four-way test, and total impact, how many points, and it was very general. And I said, oh, this will never do. We simply have to specify. So we have 20 points, and it allows them to score. Was it engaging? Okay, if it was engaging, you can give them 4 to 5 points right away. Originality, 4 to 5, so forth and so on. And the judges know that they're able to just sort of do little pencil check marks throughout to see how people did. The judge, you may find it useful to mark a plus or a minus or a check as they're going along, but the speaker him or herself should have a copy of this so they know what they're being judged on. 30 points for covering the Rotary four-way test. And I have worked on this one because I have had the judges in the past go, oh yeah, they mentioned the Rotary four-way test. Oh. Not enough. So if anybody is familiar with advanced placement tests, this is kind of what this is like. They barely mentioned it. Did they mention it? But it's not well tracked. Tracking was attempted, but not what it was inconsistent, versus outstanding and tracking and persuasiveness, and an extra point if the Rotary four-way test is clearly defined as if the audience were non-Rotarians, and an extra point at the end of the speech effectively references the Rotary four-way test. So we hope that's enough. So this will be on the website once I can be assured that the website is functioning, and it'll be there. And I encourage you to let your students and anybody who's going to be coaching to use this. So this was what I said before about originality. And I thought, aha, here's where we can address AI. This is really namby-pamby. The speaker's topic might be original in a positive way, or they might simply be taking an original approach to a more common topic. That's my words. But now it seems really weak compared to what I'm putting in as a change. Strong evidence of the speaker's personal connection to the topic, and then absence of evidence that the speech was created using AI. I might put an or in there. I'm not sure, but generally, if you're reading an essay, if you're a teacher and you're reading the essay, all of a sudden it launches into technical language or something really sophisticated, you know they're using AI. But in this case, if I said to ChatGPT, make me a speech about how a particular thing matches the Rotary four-way test, I don't know what's going to come up yet. So, but this is where I'm going with that criterion. So at least we know that there's a personal connection to the topic. Let's hope AI doesn't give them a fake personal connection. I don't know, but we can't anticipate everything. So how do we make this progress? First of all, we talk to the kids about personal stories in their life that are meaningful, even before they come up with the ethical decision. Then we work personally with the speakers as they structure their speeches. So we've had students who looked at that sandwich document and went, oh, okay, I get it. I didn't really know what I was supposed to do. Now I know what I'm supposed to do. So if you can work personally with them, this is what I would strongly recommend. If you have someone who's free at lunchtime, you can ask the students to come in to the school library or to this career center and sit down with you during their lunch. And even when we were doing it that way, we had 2 kids for every lunch hour, just 15 minutes. How are you doing, Susie? What have you got so far? Okay, where would you like to go? So it only took 15 minutes, and they could go on to their lunch, and we could get on to another student. And then how about assisting students with clothing choices? going to a classy thrift shop, maybe even taking them shopping. Someplace, and maybe if you see that we had a student I'm sure did not have the income last year, who would not have had the income to get nice clothing. So what's wrong with the Rotary Club forking over something at a classy thrift shop? You know, I don't see a problem. And then the timing, you know, send me a copy of your what you've written so far. Let's do a word count. And is there a shorter way you could say that? That sort of thing. Or I'm not really sure what you mean by that. So when I first started this, I kind of wanted to just praise the student and not be too critical. But if you can find a way to expect them to be able to clarify and meet the criteria in the long, tell me what you meant to say by that, because I'm not really understanding. You can put it on yourself. I'm not really understanding this. Tell me what you meant. So, and then listening to them give their speeches and time them. If they're aware that the timing is crucial, that you could do it through Zoom, you could do it at lunchtime, and I would strongly recommend that you have all of your candidates come to lunch one day to a coffee shop somewhere that has a conference room or something and hold a dress rehearsal. A lot of times it might have to be after school. You could do it right at school. It could be a number of different ways, but holding a dress rehearsal will help them gain confidence. And are we doing this to have a contest, or are we doing it to develop the kids? That's where I'm going with this. So if we have increased Rotarian involvement, we have a greater number of speakers that actually get some success. And they also have a positive impression about Rotary and Rotarians. That's really important. Now, it's important, however, again, planning ahead. Everybody needs their Rotary Youth Protection Screening done. But did you know that most schools have their own youth protection requirements? And if it requires sometimes exactly the same scan, because the scan that Rotary receives is not the one, the school can't just tune into that. They have to get their own. So in our school, for example, I had to get screened by them, but it was still that a staff member had to sit there and be with me while I was coaching the kids. In the library, maybe, for example, in the career center attendant could be there, a teacher could be there, but you're asking them to take their highly paid, highly valuable time to babysit you. Well, and it's their law, it's their rules. So in our schools system, we have a deal where I can get qualified to work in a room without teacher supervision. And what it requires me to do is to take a 40-minute online youth protection video. Then once I pass that, then I get to work with the students without the teacher or the school employee having to monitor. So, and in any case, I'm always really careful, leaving doors open, making sure that everybody can see where we are and what we're doing. I work in pairs. And if you're working on Zoom, I would suggest you work with maybe 2 kids. They'll learn from each other. That way, anything, and also maybe record it if they don't mind. Ask if their parent is in the room and say hi to the parent, let them know who you are, that sort of thing, so that we can avoid any problems. So how do we get support? Well, first of all, I need you to join my email list. We did have one contestant who entered the contest from a club that I had never heard from at all last year. I don't understand how that could happen. I need to know who your president is and I know who your president is. I need to know who your chair is and whether the president wants to be in on it or wants to just stay in the background. And I'm saying we have a Zoom cohort meeting Tuesday, August 12th. Why don't we just assume we're going to make that a little later? Because it's only a week and a day away, and it's too soon. So I'll come up with a different one, and I'll send you guys and everybody else a new date. And I'm not going to do a whole bunch of these Zoom cohorts because I really feel that every club needs an individual attention. If you need to know where you are and what you need to do, we need to work together for me to know where you are so I can help you find what to do. So I would rather meet you at a Starbucks someplace and sit down with you and we can talk about the possibilities. I would like to work with people personally if they need assistance, especially the newer clubs, but especially clubs that feel that they're stuck where they used to be. They looked at their results from last year and their kids are in the contest, but they're not happy with the results. So we can talk. We can Zoom, we can meet together personally. I like to meet halfway if I can. So anyway, so that's what I would like to see happen. And so to me, Nyron's slogan, it unleashes the power of Rotary and it unleashes the power of you as Rotarians to become influencers in our community. So I'm going to go back to that because you probably want to copy down that email address, and we know that this August 12th is going to change that. And you have my text number, and actually I prefer being texted because I pay more attention to it. So so Linda, welcome, Linda. Sorry I had trouble getting on. When we have this meeting that isn't going to be August 12th, like I'll make it, late August. I'll probably rerun this whole program. So Paul and who else doesn't really need to be here for it. So for that part of it. But anybody have any questions or thoughts at this point?
Mary, one thing before we start with the questions, when you send me the PowerPoint presentation, would you take out that August 12th date?
Yes. Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
come up with a new date.
Okay.
Okay, I will send you that. Now, Paul, you want the actual PowerPoint presentation, right?
Yes,
I can do
yes.
that. And so if I can send it, Marilyn, if I can send it to you, I certainly will. If you're, can take it, I don't know how big it is. I didn't think how big the file is, but I'll look for it. That will certainly move us forward.
I'll send it to everybody except those people who are on here on their phones because there's no name. I don't know who you are. And if it says somebody's name and phone, I don't know who you are. So this presentation itself will be sent out to every Rotarian in the district in about a week. So if I don't have your email address because your name isn't complete here, then just watch for a district email. I know most people don't open those, but I don't have access to text you all everything. And so it will come by email and it will be a link to click on the recording, which will be posted on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, one of our people who was not able to be here just now, Roshan,
Yes.
said that he does not get the DACDB emails. So I don't know, and I still am not getting them, even though you.
Well, here's what I found. There are two lists of all the members in the district. The one I've been using does not have, I guess, everybody's name on it. I don't know the mysteries of DACDB. I don't know why there are two lists. Right now, I can't use the complete list for whatever reason. So I'm still working on that. Be patient. If you are listening and you don't get any emails, please email me and let me know so I can do some hand additions to the master list. I love technology when it works. I'm not really fond of DACDB, but then every platform that every club uses for their website has some disadvantages. Okay, so now I vented. Thank you all for listening. And if there's somebody who wasn't able to get on, and I don't know what that problem was, we'll work through it. Or if you don't get a district email, please email me, Marilyn Sanderson 1617 at Gmail. 1617 is the year I was district governor in San Diego. That's not the year I graduated from anywhere. It's not a key number for any other reason. So Marilyn Sanderson 1617 at gmail.com.
And so I'm thinking I might put that that cohort meeting the 26th of August at 5:30 p.m. So that's kind of where I'm going to go with that.
That looks like a good date.
Okay.
I don't see any district events that would conflict with that.
Right.
There probably will be by then, but go ahead anyway.
And I will mention too that I have asked to have the student speakers from last year and this year, the top 3 winners posted on as YouTube videos on the district YouTube channel. And I'm waiting to get the link that I can put on the regular district website. I'm waiting to get assured that those have been posted. But and the downside of this year, we had a very nice venue, but the audio was only good for the audience that was there. The recording of it was very echoey. So fortunately, I'm advising people you can just get closed captions and you can hear what you kind of get what they're saying, but you read it in closed captions and it makes more sense. But the students should be able to see those as well. Why not? Anybody else have any questions? Yes, Calvin.
So if I can just request your PowerPoint to myself so I can share it with the AGs,
Yes.
so the AGs can speak to the presidents and we have another avenue to get to them. And then you spoke of it being on the district website. Will it be under vocational service in the district
I have
website?
requested that it be, I asked Dan Goodrich where it would be, and I said, might it be under documents and forms, and then under, there, or it could be vocational service. I don't care where he puts it, but I would like him to put it. So,
Okay, the reason I asked, Mary, is while you were speaking, I went to the district website and could not find anything under vocation about our 4-way test speech contest,
right,
or I couldn't find anything. So that's why
Right.
I'm asking, because
Yeah.
when I talk to my AGs, I tell them these are places you can find it. And the
yes,
district website is much easier to maneuver than DACDB.
yes. So
Yeah.
I have made several requests that,
Okay,
the one document that I was, putting up there, I sent one document. Not this one, this one. I sent this document, it's
a
a
great
PDF,
document.
and it to be posted at district5330.org. I have made several requests and so far it hasn't happened. So
So,
it's,
Mary, being the executive AG, I don't have the power of a governor, but I'm darn close. And Dan Goodrich and I speak quite often. So when you send something to Dan, if you copy me on it, I also have a little power for you.
a little oomph. And if you
Okay.
think, see, I'm concerned, some people like to think of the speech contest as youth, even though it is officially under under vocational. So I don't care where they put it, but I would like them to put it somewhere.
That's it. But we need to figure out where we're gonna put it. I think it's
Mhm.
vocational, but youth is RILA and all that other stuff. That's great, but this is vocational. But copy me on anything you send Dan and I will help you get it done.
Thank you. That is
Okay?
very, very helpful. So,
There are more delays in getting things on any website for the district because the requests and the amount of information has just risen exponentially this year compared to past years. And we only have one district administrator, and that's Dan Goodrich. So there will be a wait time unless they can figure out the district, and that would be Cal and Nyron McLean, our district governor, how to expand the people who can handle these requests and get things done more quickly. It's just a matter of having a couple of full-time employed people trying to do a full-time job.
Right. So just
Rotary.
to let you know, Dan and I work about 9:30 at night sometimes.
I know you do, and we thank you for that. It's amazing that you can still have a business that's operating, and I know you do, Cal. It's amazing that you can have two full-time jobs.
it
Yeah,
is.
it's my hobby. It's what I tell people. Rotary is my hobby. So, okay. No, thank
All
you.
right.
All right, we're out of time, Mary. Do you want to wrap it up? And
I'm, I'm, I'm good. If no one else has any questions, I just look forward to hearing from everyone and keeping in touch.
all right, thank you all for tuning in this evening. And for those of you who got in late because you had problems with the getting on Zoom, I don't know what happened this time because I've not had that problem before, but I think I may know what the cause was, and I'm going to be putting more information on the district emails I send out about how to get onto Zoom.
Mhm.
So I will tell you, I just went through the calendar
Mm-hmm.
just by going to District 5330 calendar of events. And
Right.
of course, you need to click all the little boxes to come up. But as soon as I clicked on it, it took me right in.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Really?
the calendar I think is the safe way.
It is. And I think some people were copying or trying to click on
Exactly.
the link on the flyer, and that's
Right.
not a live link. So we'll work through it. Thank you all for your patience.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
We'll
you,
help. We'll work
everybody.
it out. Thank you
Yeah.
all. Paul, take care.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.